Hi there everybody, I'm Bill Keller. I'm a Platinum Executive with Thrive Life, and in this video I want to talk about the Thrive Tasting or the Food Tasting Party. Now if you know me from my YouTube channel, Tiny House Prepper, obviously I'm not in my tiny house. I'm here actually visiting my sister-in-law for the week, and I don't even know what to do with all this room around me. But anyway, so I have some time to get this video done. It's something that I've wanted to do for a while, so I'm grabbing the opportunity. So we want to talk about the food tasting. Now, we used to call it party. There are a lot of companies that have parties that do the home party plan. But what we've discovered is that the word party sometimes has kind of a negative connotation, and people are turned off by that. So we now call it a tasting or a food tasting, or if you want to, a food tasting party. But people don't want to come to parties. They've been to parties, they're partied out. But who doesn't want to taste food, right? So we invite them to a food tasting, and it really has much more success, and it doesn't have such a negative connotation. So we will now be talking about the tasting. Now, a lot of new consultants are completely intimidated by the thought of doing a tasting. I completely understand that. You don't feel like you know what you're talking about. You're afraid to talk in front of crowds, whatever. The simplest form of a tasting is the one-on-one, and this is really easy. You just invite a friend over for dinner or for lunch. Don't even tell them what you're doing. Just invite them over for dinner, and then wait until they get there before you start cooking. And then you make sure that she's in the kitchen with you and she watches you start to cook with Thrive Food. And you don't even have to say anything. She'll just see it, and I guarantee you questions will arise. What is this stuff? What are you doing? And she'll see you cook it, she'll see how fast and easy it is, and then she'll taste it, and then the questions will come up, and then you can just easily talk about it. And the one-on-one, a lot of people are having really good success with that. Invite yourself over to somebody else's house. Call and say, hey, I'm coming over for dinner this evening, and I'll bring the food with you. Then you take a simple plate with you, or you take an easy, soup recipe with a bunch of cans that you take with you to cook it, and just let her see you cook it in their kitchen. It's a very easy way to go. But the rest of this video, I'm going to be talking about how to do a more formalized tasting party where you have a host who is hosting the party for you at her house, and you go over there and she's got half a dozen or a dozen guests there, and you do a formal presentation. It's it's still really not as intimidating as you would think if you know what you're doing. And so the point of this video is to give you an outline to know to feel comfortable that you know what you're talking about and how to organize the presentation. I'll put the outline in the description down below in this video, so you can just copy and paste and then print it off for yourself to use if you want. So let's talk about the tasting. Now, what is the purpose of the tasting, of the food tasting? You might think that you want to make sales and make money. Well, obviously making sales is good. Making money is good. But that's not the main purpose for you for having a tasting. Now, obviously you want to make as many sales as you can for the sake of your host, because you want your host to get as much benefit from it as possible as far as the free and half off stuff. So you really want to push for sales. But from your perspective, like I said, sales is not the main point, not the main issue. And there are some expenses to putting on a tasting, because you have to have some of the food that you're going to be preparing for them, and some of the brochures and things like that. But basically, as long as you make enough sales to break even financially for yourself, it's a successful party if you can meet some of these other things. So what are the main goals for you in doing a tasting? Well, first of all, obviously you want to make sales, but you want to sign delivery customers, because if you sign a delivery customer, well, you make twice as much. You make 20% or more on that sale instead of just 10% from a single purchase. But more importantly, you're building your customer base, because delivery customers are on an automated shipment program, and they'll place an order every month for months or even years into the future. So as you build your deliveries, that's how you build your business long term. The next thing that you want to do is you want to sign consultants. And you're building your business if you sign consultants, and that's a great thing. So But to me, probably the most important thing is that you want to assign hosts for more tastings. So even if you just barely break even on a party, on a tasting, sorry, on a tasting, if you sign another host, then you have another party to go to, or maybe even 2 or 3, then that was a successful party, because you want to, perpetuate the party plan. You want to perpetuate tastings. If you don't get any hosts out of it, eventually your contacts could dry up, and then how do you restart your parties? So you really want to push to sign hosts for tastings, because that's how you keep your party plan going. Now, there are several things for sale in your back office that are only for consultants that I use at parties. One of them is a salsa mix. It's called a fresh garden salsa mix, and it's only, like I said, for consultants. Customers can't buy it. And another thing is the chicken salad mix. That's something that customers can't buy. But both of those are available to you. Go into your deliveries and click on Edit Groceries, and then in the categories you can go to Consultant Materials, and you'll find both the garden salsa mix and the chicken salad. You will also in there find recipe cards for both of those things. And so I would get the recipe cards so that you can hand those out to your people, to your attendees at your tasting, as you give them the food, and it really works well. As you're preparing for it, the tasting, you want to ask your host to provide unflavored chips, corn chips, unflavored tortilla chips, and you also want to ask them to provide drinks, hot and cold, or depending on the season. That's up to them, and don't have them provide any other food. I heard one consultant say that she went to a tasting, and when she got there, the host had put on this big, beautiful buffet display of unbelievable foods, and it was just so totally inappropriate, because you're there to highlight the Thrive food, and when all this other food there and everybody's eating on that other food, they're not even hungry to try your Thrive stuff, so it just doesn't work. So make sure that your host brings the chips and drinks and nothing else. Just tell them you will provide everything else. And then the day before the host or the tasting, you want to try to get an idea of how many people are going to be attending. So be in touch with your host to find out how many people will be there. Now, I would make up the salsa ahead of time, and also the chicken salad ahead of time. Make it at home like the night before and put it in the refrigerator. Then you can take it in some kind of a plastic lid with a cover on it or something, where you can take it with you. So when you get there, you're going to get there a little early, of course, and you set out the salsa on a table along with the drinks and the chips that your host has provided, and you just leave it there for like some finger food. When people come in, then they can try the salsa. You don't say anything about it. Don't say anything about what it is. Just let it sit there, and just invite them to try some salsa. And then when you first start your party, you just introduce yourself, and then you ask about the salsa. I would say something like, "Hi everybody, I'm Bill Keller. I'm a Thrive Life consultant, and I'm very glad you're here this evening to share some Thrive food with us. What did you think of did you have the salsa? What did you think of the salsa?" And everybody will say, "Yeah, it was really good." And then you say, "Do you know that salsa is made from 100% Thrive Life freeze-dried food?" And they all go, "No way." And as soon as you say that, you can feel the excitement level in the room rise as people realize how good this food really is. They're really amazed by it. And that sets the tone for expectation for them to be able to try the rest of it. And then you go into your little introduction, and you basically introduce yourself, and you tell them how you got started or how you like Thrive food. This is going to be completely customized to your situation. Just be yourself and just tell them why you like it. For me, I was really into emergency preparedness and planning for emergencies in the future, and so I was storing some food, and I had canned goods. I had vegetables, and I had fruits, but I had trouble finding any kind of meats. I had tuna and I had canned chicken, and that's all I could find as far as meat, and you get really tired of that if that's all you had. So I went online to try to find some other solution, and I stumbled onto the Thrive Life corporate website, and I saw they had all kinds of meats. So I decided to give it a try, and then I thought, you know, I don't want to spend all this money on long-term food storage if I don't like the food, only to find that I don't like it when I need it. So we decided to try it just to make sure we like it. And we found out we liked it so much that we started trying more of it. Next thing you know, we liked it so much that we were using it constantly in like 50 to 60% of our daily cooking. And then we liked it so much that we were telling our friends about it. And, you know, I didn't have any desire. I had been in several other businesses like this. I didn't have any desire to be in another business. But we were telling all our friends about it because we liked it so much. So then I thought, you know, if I'm going to tell them anyway, I might as well become a consultant. So we became consultants with Thrive Life, and we've been doing it ever since. And we're so glad because this company, the food and the company, has completely changed our lives. So that's, you know, that's what I would say. You can customize it, like I said, to tell your own story of why you like it, or how you got into it, or that you like the convenience about it, or whatever. You know, that's your thing. Then after that, you want to pass out some samples, some dry samples, and I have a little plastic cup that if you got the larger consultant starter kits, you got some samples of the cups in there. And you can buy them at Walmart and Costco and things like that. They're just little cups about this big around. And I just put in there some strawberry, some dry strawberry, and some dry corn. Both of the strawberries and the corn have what I call the wow factor. You put it in your mouth and the flavor just bursts in your mouth. It's like, wow, this is fabulous. Those two products, more than anything else, have the wow factor. So that's what I use. And I have them taste put like just one piece of strawberry, a larger piece of strawberry, and then 2 or 3 kernels of corn, and that's all you need. I had them try the strawberry first and then the corn, because, you know, strawberries are really good, but they're a little tart, and so a lot of people put sugar on them. Well, Thrive doesn't have anything in it, it's just the strawberry. So when you eat that strawberry, it's a little bit tart. And then let their palate clear for a minute. Tell them to you know, wait a few minutes before they try the corn. And then when they try the corn, if you've ever had it dry, if you haven't, try it. You'll see. It's really sweet. It's really good. And I have them do the strawberries first, because if they do the corn first and they have that real sweet stuff in their mouth, and then they try that tart strawberry after the sweet corn, it's so tart it'll make their face turn inside out, you know. So do the strawberry first, and then have them do the sweet corn. And that always really leaves an impression. And then you talk about the nutrition. You know, the fact that it's healthier than the grocery store fresh produce. And you talk about it's called the Tale of Two Bananas. Now this is a resource that you have that you can print off in your back office. It's called the flyer, the Fresher Than Fresh flyer. In your back office, you go to Tools, you go to Resource Center, and then My Marketing Department. And then down at the bottom is the flyer called Fresher Than Fresh. You can print that off. And the Tale of Two Bananas compares the path or the journey that a banana takes from the tree to the grocery store, which takes a month, and by then it's lost most of its nutrition. Or from a tree into our freeze-dried can, where it's flash frozen almost immediately within hours, and it locks in all the freshness, it locks in all the nutrients, all the flavors, all the enzymes, everything is in there, and you don't have the deterioration that goes on when a banana takes that long journey to get to the grocery store. And so it's actually healthier than the fresh produce that you can get at the grocery store. And then after you talk about the nutrition and you know, learn about it a little bit so you can talk about it knowledgeably. But you don't have to know everything about it. Just know a little bit, and you know more than they do. So it's going to be a learning process. Just continue to learn as much as you can over time to be able to talk about the nutrition. So that's the nutrition. Now, making sales is all about overcoming objections. And the two main objections that you're going to hear about Thrive, one is the nutrition. People don't understand it and they don't think it's healthy, but it really is. And the other one is the cost. A lot of people seem to think that it's too expensive, so you need to address the cost savings of Thrive. People don't realize that when you buy, especially the family cans, you're really buying in bulk because they don't realize how much food is in there. Elizabeth and I really like peas. We eat them at least twice a week, if not more. And the first thing that we tried was a can of peas, and eating it, for two of us eating it twice a week, that can lasted us 2.5 months. So it really is, ordering in bulk. But the main thing is that you are eliminating waste. The average American family throws away, because of spoilage, 25% of the food that they purchase. And so when you buy Thrive, you actually eliminate the waste. You no longer throw away food. If you ever had celery, a whole bunch of celery that you've actually finished the whole bunch before it went limp and wilty? Mushrooms, same way. They get nasty and slimy if you don't use them within a day or two. There's all kinds of foods like that that you either throw away before you use them because they go bad, or you cook too much because you have to use the whole package, and then you have leftovers that sit in the fridge until they grow green, and then you throw them out. You don't have any of those issues with Thrive Life Food because there is no waste, so you're actually saving 25% of the cost compared to the grocery store prices because you're not throwing anything away. So be sure to address that issue, and if you don't, it may very well come up anyway in questions. So the main issue there is that you are eliminating the waste, and most families throw away 25% of what they purchase. And then I would actually give out a sample of the chicken salad that I prepared at home. Now, like I said, you can use the chicken salad mix that's available in the back office of the website. It's available only for consultants. Or if you have all the ingredients, you can make it yourself. If you make it out of number 10 cans of all of the ingredients, it's going to be cheaper for you. I will put the recipe down below in the description of how to make the chicken salad. Now, you're only going to give them like a couple of tablespoons full of the chicken salad. You're not giving them a meal. This is just a tasting. So you can have a little paper plate, a little small size paper plate to put or a bowl, a paper bowl, because, I'll talk about more about the food later, but you can put the food in the bowl as well. So if you use a bowl, then you can just ladle out a couple tablespoons full of the chicken salad to let them try that. And they're always amazed because the chicken salad is really good. And just let them know, except for the mayonnaise, everything else is 100% Thrive freeze-dried food. And then while you're doing that, and while they're tasting it, while you're passing it around, you can start talking about the convenience of the food. That there's no cleaning, there's no chopping, there's no pre-cooking of the meats. It's already all done for you. And the time saving in meal prep, that you can, most of the time you can save at least 50% of the time that it takes to cook a meal by using Thrive food, because everything's already pre-cleaned and chopped and cooked for you, so you can save a lot of time. Also, the time savings in the amount of time that you don't have to spend at the grocery store. You can make less trips to the store, and when you go, you don't spend as much time there. So you can talk about the convenience. And then you cook the meal. Now, this is not, you're not feeding them a meal, you're just cooking up a plate to allow them a small bowl full or a small taste of it. Of course, depending on how many guests you have there. But it used to be that we would all have to have our own favorite recipe, that we would actually take all the cans of food and cook it for them there. And then they introduced the simple plate in July of 2017, and at that time then they changed the starter kits, so that the starter kits have everything you need to do a tasting, using the simple plate. So now most consultants just take a simple plate and they cook it up, and they let everybody see what it is and how easy it is to cook and how fast it goes, and then they just let everybody taste the food from the simple plate. You can use the simple plate, or if you prefer, you can still use your own recipe. It's a little bit more complicated. To me, I would prefer using my own recipe because I think it gives more of a sample or an idea of what it's like to use Thrive groceries. But if you cook up your own recipes, you're going to have to take the cans of food with you. But take some simple plates with you as well. Open one of them up so they can see. You can explain that you cook by the numbers and how easy it is. as you cook them your own recipe. If you use the simple plate, you still want to take a couple of the other cans. You can take unopened cans, but just so they can see the size of a pantry can and the size of a family can, and just have a couple of them sitting there. But when we did the meal, when we cooked the meal, we used a taco soup recipe that was really good. It also has kind of a wow factor, and the only thing in the soup that was not Thrive was a prepackaged taco seasoning mix that we got from the grocery store. So we would give them the ingredients, and they would watch us cook it, and then we would give them a bowl full of the soup where they could taste it. And I will also put the recipe for the soup down below in the description down below. And you can see right here, all I did was just took the recipe and put it onto a Word document. And you can see here, that's it. It's just the ingredients and instructions. And then what I would do I would actually print this out and have it available that I can give out to all the people that were there so they can make their own taco soup. Now I will also put this in the description down below in this video, so all you have to do is copy it and paste it into a word processor, and then you can just print it off. You might have to change the formatting a little bit. It'll lose formatting, but then you can print it off for yourself and for the people that come. If you decide to cook your own meal, then this is one that I recommend. Of course, if you use the simple plate, which is the easiest thing for you, then you won't need this. But they see you cook the meal, whether you use the simple plate or your own. They see you cook the meal, and they see how fast and easy it is, and then they taste the meal. Now, so many people are so skeptical about freeze-dried food. As soon as they hear the word, they have a preconceived idea of what it is, and they're skeptical and they don't believe it. But like my sponsor, Michelle Grote, likes to say, your taste buds don't lie. Your taste buds know quality when they taste it. So if you can get the food in their mouths, they will be convinced. And so that's why I use the strawberries and the corn, and also I like the taco soup because I think all three of those have the wow factor. You put it in your mouth, it's like it just explodes with flavor, and I think it's very effective. So after you cook the meal, then you go into the close. And there are three main things here that you want to talk about, and I mentioned them in the beginning. You want to talk about deliveries because you want to sign delivery customers. You want to talk about hosting because you want to perpetrate the tasting parties and keep them going. And then you want to talk about the business opportunity. Now, in the close, you always want to say when. You never say if. You always want to assume that they're going to purchase and guide them in the right direction. Make suggestions. You know, you don't want to just say, well, that's it. If you have any questions, give me a call. You want to actually guide them and tell them this is the next step. So you would say, when you join the delivery program, not if, when you join the delivery program, it's great because you get free shipping on any order over $100. And you get the shipment every month, and you can completely customize it to whatever you want. It's really a convenient way to do it, and you save money because of the free shipping. Would you like to receive some free food, some free Thrive, and some free half off? You can do that when you host a tasting like this one, just like this one. You gather friends to your house. I will come over and do this presentation, and you will earn free food. And then there's a little brochure there about the host benefits, and you can hand that out so they can see all of the benefits of hosting. And then you talked about the business opportunity. You know, you say you can use this food, you can get free food by by hosting a tasting for us, or you can join it as a business opportunity. This is a great business if you're looking for a home business to be able to make some additional money. This is a great way to do it. And you know, like most companies have a niche market where they only sell to women who use jewelry, or something like, you know, women or someone who is health conscious to sell vitamins. Well, Thrive also has a niche market, and we only sell to people who eat. So, and of course that's tongue in cheek, but it gets the point across that it's a great business because everybody in the world needs it. It's one of the very few products that are like that. So then you just start taking orders and you start mingling with all the people there. When Elizabeth and I go, we share the presentation. I do some of it. I do most of the presentation, and she does the cooking. She prepares the taco soup, and then we work together and we work the crowd at the end. Now, to help them fill out the form and to answer questions about becoming a host or joining the delivery program. Now, if you only have 1 or 2 people there and you have the time, you don't have to bother with the order forms. You can just, if you have internet there, you can just sign them up on your computer with them looking over your shoulder, and you can fill out their order form and whatever they want to purchase or whatever they want to sign up for. But if you have a lot of people there, it would take a lot of time to do all of that one-on-one, and you would lose a lot of people because they'll run out of time, they'll get impatient, and they'll leave. So that's what the order forms are for. You do not mail the order forms into the company. What you do is you have them fill out the forms, and then you take them home and you use that form to place their order for them in your back office. And I have other videos on this channel that show you how to place orders in their back office. And when you do that, you tell them that that you'll be opening an account for them, a customer account, and Thrive will send them a temporary password. And they can use that temporary password to then go in and change to whatever password they want. And that way then they can see their orders, they can track their orders, they can see their order history, all that sort of thing. So you just take the orders on the order forms and then take them home and place them into your, you place the orders in your back office. Another thing that you want to do is have a customer, just have an information form there that you would have them fill out. On here they would put in their name and contact information, and then there are check boxes there where they can check what they're interested in, whether they're interested in becoming a consultant or interested in hosting a party or joining delivery or whatever it is that they want to do. That gives you their contact information so you can get in contact with them again. You can also add them to your email list if you send out emails. Now, I'm not going to talk at length about this because it's already been covered. I have a video on this channel done by Monty and Debbie Abbott, who are in our upline, and it's called, it's about doing shows and expos, and they cover this at length about how to do it. And so if you're interested in that, go watch that video, how to do shows and expos. And they'll give you everything you need to know about how to properly get the people to fill out those information sheets. So that's about it. Like I said, this is not an actual demonstration of the video of the tasting. It's just an outline that you can use. I know when most people first start out, they don't have a clue how to do a party, how to do a tasting, and they're intimidated by it. You can take this outline, you can do it word for word the way I've done it, or you can just use it as a basis to develop whatever you feel the most comfortable with it, customize it for yourself, for your benefit, for your personality, whatever. So I hope this has been very helpful to you. It's just the basis to start from, but it gives you a good solid basis to know how to start. If you have any questions about it and you're in my downline, I would love very much to talk to you. You can give me an email or give me a call, and we can talk through all of the specifics, and I can answer any additional questions that you may have. So, okay, have a great day. We'll talk to you soon.